everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Lorian and I am a mum of 5 children. I have 3 boys and then 2 baby girls. So this video is like 3 recipes of dinners we had last week. So the first one is a shepherd's pie, and the second one is a sausage like bake in the slow cooker, and the third one is a slow cooker chicken curry. So I will leave my recipes and my ingredients all below, and I will just show you how I made them all, and I hope you enjoy it. I always like to prepare shepherd's pie and cottage pie if I make them in the morning. I think like I can drop the children to school and I can get back and make them, and then I can just pop it in the fridge and heat it up later, and I just find it so much easier. If I'm ever doing meals like that, I like to prepare them in the morning just so that they're done for the day and I know that dinner is ready. So I usually brown my mince, add my harder vegetables like onions and carrots that need softening quicker, and then I'll probably add in some frozen peas, some tomato puree, some Worcester sauce, and I add some mint sauce to a shepherd's pie. I love mint sauce, and then I'll add some beef stock and just let it bubble until it's thick enough that you can serve it, and then I make my mash and add that on top. If you're in the UK, then you'll know of Waitrose stores, and they do a rosemary, garlic and thyme oil, and I added like a tiny bit to my mash and it was just delicious, and I used it on my roast potatoes too, and it's just really good. So I really do recommend buying some and adding it. It's definitely worth it. I always love to add cheese on top of my cottage pies and shepherd's pies. I just think it really makes it nice and crispy when you manage to crisp it in the oven. So my sausage and mash in the slow cooker, well, mash wasn't in the slow cooker, but my sausages in the slow cooker was just a random dinner I came up with. I do love the slow cookers because I just think you can put anything in it and it always comes out tasting okay. So I popped my sausages in there. I didn't actually put the whole pack in. I kept a few aside and put them in the freezer because I thought we don't need them all. And sometimes I just like to take a little bit of meat out of meals and pop it in the freezer, and then eventually you make up a whole meal without even sort of realising, if that makes sense. So I popped them in. I added some carrots. I added a packet of tomato sauce, just like a bolognese mix. I added kale, and then I added some onions. What I also love about the slow cooker is I just think you can add so many vegetables to your dish, and they're not even very noticeable, so children don't even notice them very much, like adding spinach and kale, onions, carrots, just beans, anything, things like that. They just don't even realise they're in there, and you just get so much vegetables in there. From our fruit and vegetable delivery that we got butternut squash, and I have never cooked one before, but Curtis really likes it. So I took all the skin off. First time I did it, I used the knife and it wasn't very successful. The second time I used a potato peeler and it was much easier. So I just left that for a while, and then I started making my mash nearer to dinner time. I always pop my slow cooker on in the morning and leave it for the day on low. I never put it on high and do less time. I just always do low for the morning. So for my mash, I like to boil them till they're really, really soft, and then I whip them up in my KitchenAid, and it just makes super soft mash, and it's not very lumpy at all. I add some butter, I add some milk, and I added my Waitrose oil, and then I just dished it up, and it was literally as simple as that, and it was absolutely delicious. So for my last meal, it's my slow cooked chicken curry, and actually for my chicken I used chicken that we had for dinner the day before. So this was Monday morning we had this. Sunday we had a roast, and our chicken was so big we had a lot left over, so I popped it in the fridge and used it today. So I popped in an onion, another butternut squash because we've got a second one with our next week's delivery. I popped in 2 curry sauces, so a butter chicken and a tikka masala, and then I peeled my butternut squash, chopped it up and chucked that in again. This is where I realised the potato peeler was so much easier to use, so I decided to use that instead. Normally when I peel potatoes I don't use one, I just use a knife because I find peelers take so much longer, but I do lose a lot of potato on the skin, so I'm starting to make sure I use peelers now to save on my potatoes. It makes such a big difference. I had a random tomato in the fridge. I thought I would just use that too. And then I had some more kale, so I popped that in. I popped some chickpeas in. So this is what I'm saying about the slow cooker. There is just so many things in the house. You can just quickly pop in any veg that's like in the fridge and needs to be used. You can just chuck it in, and I just think it works with most meals. So I just mixed it up and left it. And then halfway through the day, I came in and added a stock cube. I used a vegetable stock cube just to give some more sauce to it because it needed some more sauce. And I also then popped in my chicken because it was already cooked. I didn't put it in from the beginning. If it was raw I would have put it in the beginning, but it was already cooked, so I thought I'd put it in halfway through. I serve that with some rice, and I make my rice by however much of a cup I use, I double it. So if I usually use a cup for us, and then I use 2 cups of water, I double the water. I use 2 cups of water, and then you put it on high until it starts bubbling, and then when it is bubbling, put the lid on, turn it down to low, and leave it for about 35 minutes, and it makes the most perfect rice. So that's everything for my video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it interesting and you liked seeing my meals. I have already got enough to make another one next week, so hopefully I will manage to get that done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week, and hopefully I will see you on my next video on Sunday, which is either going to be showing our dinners for the week, or it's going to be a morning routine with my children, because I filmed that this morning. So thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you there.